You ever had that moment when your chest feels heavy, your mind racing, and your heart trying to convince you that what you're seeing isn't real? That split second when you realize the person you thought was yours is out there smiling, laughing, maybe vibing with someone else, and it feels like your whole world just hit pause. Yeah, that kind of pain doesn't come with warning labels. It doesn't knock before it enters your peace. It just arrives, loud and quiet at the same time, shaking your confidence and questioning your worth. But here's what I learned. You can't let that moment define you. You can't let heartbreak write your story. See, life has a way of testing your emotions to reveal your strength. It's not about what someone did to you. It's about what you do after. You can drown in that hurt, or you can rise with it. You can chase answers, or you can chase purpose. Because in the end, the real revenge isn't anger, it's evolution. The best comeback isn't a post or a paragraph, it's peace, progress, and power. So tonight, I'm not here to talk about losing love. I'm here to talk about finding yourself again. Respect over reaction is a principle that separates the wise from the impulsive. When you find yourself in a situation where your girlfriend is with another friend, the natural instinct is to react, to confront, to question, to express the flood of emotions that rise like fire in your chest. But true strength doesn't come from reacting fast. It comes from pausing, breathing, and choosing respect over chaos. Respect isn't just about her, it's about you. It's about recognizing that your peace, your self-worth, and your dignity are not negotiable. When emotions run high, it's easy to let your pride drive the moment. You might want to show her that you care, or that you're hurt, or that you won't be played with. But every loud word, every heated move only drains your power and gives the moment control over you instead of the other way around. When you respond with respect, you're saying to the world that your emotions don't own you. You own them. You're saying that even in disappointment, you can stand tall. You're showing that the bond you have with yourself is stronger than the bond you lost with someone else. That's the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is fire. Response is light. Fire burns quick and fades. Light lasts, guides, and keeps you steady. Respect doesn't mean you ignore what happened or pretend it doesn't hurt. It means you don't let pain turn you into something you're not. You can feel betrayed without becoming bitter. You can be disappointed without being disrespectful. You can let the moment teach you instead of letting it define you. When you choose respect, you're not doing it to look strong in front of her or anyone else. You're doing it because that's who you are when the noise fades. You know your character isn't for sale and your emotions aren't for display. See, when you act out of reaction, you feed the moment that broke you. You give it life and space in your story. But when you respond with calm, you take that energy back. You start writing the next chapter on your own terms. You remind yourself that no relationship, no misunderstanding, no betrayal is worth losing your inner balance. People might expect you to explode, to make a scene, to say something reckless. But when you move different, when you stay composed, they start to see that your peace isn't something they can shake. Respect also means respecting their choices, even when they cut deep. Maybe she's confused, maybe she's lost interest, maybe she's making a mistake. That's her path to walk. You don't control that. You only control how you carry yourself while she walks away. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Because chasing answers from someone who's already mentally gone will never bring peace. It only drags you deeper into frustration. Sometimes silence speaks louder than confrontation. Sometimes distance is the only real message you need to send. There's power in knowing when to step back, power in not reacting to every rumor, every photo, every whisper that comes your way. The world might test your patience, but your maturity will keep you grounded. You learn to breathe through it, to let time do the explaining. You don't need to prove that you cared or that you were loyal. The truth always comes to light, and people eventually see who is real and who is just temporary. Choosing respect over reaction is not about suppressing your emotions, it's about mastering them. You can cry, reflect, talk it out, pray, write, run, grind, whatever helps you release that pain without losing your composure. Because once the storm passes, you'll look back and thank yourself for not letting a moment of weakness define your strength. You'll realize that maturity isn't about not feeling anger, it's about not letting anger speak for you. This mindset builds emotional discipline, the kind that keeps you steady when life tries to shake you. Every time you respond with respect instead of reaction, you sharpen that discipline. You build a wall between your peace and the chaos outside it. That wall isn't made of ego, it's made of understanding. Understanding that peace costs too much to give away for free. Understanding that you can't control what others do, but you can always control how you move. So when you see something that hurts, when you hear something that makes your heart sink, take a breath before you act. Think about what your future self would thank you for. Think about the man or woman you're becoming, not the one you were yesterday. Respect over reaction is about long-term strength, not short-term emotion. It's about walking away with your head high, not looking back with regret. It's about showing the world and yourself that even in heartbreak, your spirit can't be broken. Energy alignment is one of the most powerful yet misunderstood ideas when it comes to relationships. When your girlfriend chooses to spend more time with another friend, it can hit deep, especially if you've been genuine, loyal, and invested. But instead of seeing it as betrayal right away, it helps to look at it from an energy perspective. Every person operates on a certain frequency. The way they think, move, dream, love, and handle life. Sometimes people start on the same frequency, and that's what brings them close. But over time, energy changes. People evolve, priorities shift, and what used to connect you might not hold the same power anymore. It's not always about right or wrong. It's about alignment. When someone's energy starts to move in a different direction, you can feel it before you even see it. Conversations feel shorter, attention feels divided, and the connection feels like it's fading in slow motion. That's not always because of another person. It's often because the vibration between you two no longer matches. You might still care deeply, but care alone doesn't keep energy aligned. Real connection requires shared frequency, not just shared history. When you and your partner are aligned, things flow naturally. You understand each other's silence, your goals complement each other, and you both push each other toward growth. When the alignment breaks, communication turns into confusion, effort turns into exhaustion, and love starts to feel like work instead of peace. Understanding energy alignment helps you release what's no longer meant for you. It's not about blaming her for choosing someone else's company. It's about realizing she's drawn to a different energy because that's where her current mindset or emotions align. Maybe that friend understands her situation in a way you don't right now, or maybe their energy is simply lighter, easier. It doesn't mean you failed. It means your vibration is moving in a direction she's not tuned into anymore. Instead of chasing that connection or trying to force it back, it's wiser to respect the distance and focus on realigning yourself. When your energy is pure and stable, you attract what truly belongs to you: people, opportunities, peace. Energy alignment teaches patience and awareness. It tells you that not everyone who starts with you is meant to finish with you. Some people come to teach lessons, some come to test your discipline, and some come to help you grow. When the frequency shifts, clinging only causes friction. The more you try to hold on to something that's moving away, the more resistance you feel inside. But when you accept that your energies no longer match, you find freedom instead of frustration. You start focusing on how to elevate your own energy instead of trying to lower it to keep someone close. That's where maturity kicks in, knowing when to stay grounded in your truth and when to step back and let life realign things naturally. In life, everything is vibration. The people who inspire you, the ones who drain you, the ones who love you, and the ones who leave, all are part of your energetic ecosystem. When your frequency rises through self-growth, purpose, and clarity, not everyone can keep up. Some people fade out quietly, and it hurts because your heart remembers the connection, but your spirit knows it's necessary. You can't move forward carrying old vibrations that no longer serve your path. That's why sometimes losing someone is actually gaining space for alignment with something better, something more in tune with who you're becoming. The hardest part about energy misalignment is that it doesn't always come with closure. You might not get an explanation or an apology. She might just drift away slowly, and it leaves you confused. But that's where understanding energy helps you find peace. Instead of asking, why did she change? You start asking, what is this teaching me about myself? You shift the focus inward, learning how to recognize your own energy and protect it. You begin to see relationships not as ownership, but as connection, temporary exchanges of energy meant to teach, heal, or awaken something in you. When you move with that understanding, you stop forcing what's fading and start nurturing what's growing. You stop chasing temporary comfort and start attracting genuine alignment. Energy alignment is about flow, not control. It's knowing that if someone truly belongs in your frequency, no distance, distraction, or third person can pull them away for long. They'll return naturally because energy doesn't lie. And if they don't, that's a sign that their path was only meant to run parallel to yours for a season, not forever. So when your girlfriend's attention drifts to another friend, take a step back and observe, not with jealousy, but with awareness. Ask yourself if your energies are still moving together or if the universe is nudging you toward new growth. Sometimes love doesn't end, it just transforms. It shifts into lessons, into gratitude, into clarity about what you truly need and deserve. The more you tune into your own energy, the more you understand that alignment is sacred. You don't chase it, you attract it by being authentic, grounded, and open to evolution. In that space, you stop fearing who leaves and start trusting what stays, because what's meant for you will always move in rhythm with your soul. Growth from pain is one of life's hardest but most necessary lessons. When your heart breaks, when someone you trusted shifts their loyalty or energy towards someone else, the first thing you feel is loss. It's like a piece of your identity has been pulled away, leaving a quiet ache that words can't fix. But pain, when understood deeply, becomes a teacher. It's the kind of teacher that doesn't speak gently, but it shows you truths about yourself that comfort never could. Pain reveals where your attachments were too deep, where your self-worth depended too much on someone else's presence, and where your strength was waiting to be built. Every heartbreak, betrayal, or disappointment carries a hidden lesson inside it, but you only find it when you stop fighting the pain and start learning from it. When someone you love chooses another person's company, it challenges your sense of value. You start questioning yourself, wondering what you lacked, what you did wrong, or why your effort wasn't enough. Those questions can eat you alive if you let them. But the truth is, pain isn't always punishment, it's redirection. It's life removing what no longer fits your journey so you can grow into what you're meant to become. Growth never comes from comfort, it comes from discomfort, from broken expectations, from moments when you thought you couldn't stand but somehow did. The process is ugly, it's silent, it happens in the nights you spend replaying memories, the mornings you wake up with heaviness in your chest, the moments you try to act fine while your soul is still healing. But even in that darkness, something inside you is shifting. You're learning how to stand alone, how to rebuild your confidence, how to see yourself not as someone who lost love, but as someone who gained strength. Pain forces reflection. It makes you sit with your emotions whether you want to or not. It strips away illusions and makes you face the reality of who you are and what you need. Maybe you gave too much of yourself trying to keep the connection alive. Maybe you ignored the signs that she was drifting away. Maybe you made her your peace when you should have built that peace within yourself first. Pain highlights those blind spots so that next time you move with wisdom instead of desperation. It transforms if you let it. The key is not to run from it, not to drown it with distractions, but to face it head on. Because when you walk through pain consciously, you come out the other side stronger, sharper, and more self-aware. Growth from pain isn't about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about understanding that the hurt is purpose. It's the seed of transformation. Think about it. Every great story, every personal victory, every major change starts with a moment of discomfort. When you hit rock bottom, you see clearly what truly matters. You learn who stands beside you when the lights are off. You realize that love doesn't always mean forever, and that's okay because its ending doesn't erase its meaning. It just pushes you to evolve. Pain turns into motivation if you channel it right. You start working on your goals with more intensity, focusing on your growth, not to prove anything to anyone, but to honor yourself. You stop wasting time trying to control what's gone and instead invest energy into becoming someone you're proud of. There's a quiet beauty in that transformation. The same pain that once broke you becomes the foundation of your resilience. You start to look back and see that heartbreak didn't destroy you, it refined you. It taught you patience, empathy, and emotional strength. It made you more careful about who you give your energy to. It made you realize that your happiness should never depend entirely on another person's actions. Growth from pain is about reclaiming your power, the kind that doesn't shout but glows, the kind that walks away from chaos with peace in its heart. You also learn to forgive, not because what happened was okay, but because you deserve to be free. Holding on to anger or resentment keeps you tied to the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing not to carry the weight anymore. That's part of growth too, releasing the heaviness so new blessings can enter. Pain matures you in ways comfort never could. It softens your pride, deepens your understanding, and strengthens your spirit. It shows you that you can survive what you thought would break you, and that realization alone changes everything. When the dust settles, you look back and realize that every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt was shaping you for something greater. You learned that pain was never your enemy, it was your instructor. It stripped away the illusion so you could meet your authentic self. Growth from pain is slow, but it's real. It doesn't happen overnight, but one day you wake up lighter. You start to smile again, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally understand the lesson behind the loss. That's when you know you've turned pain into power. Value and vision are two forces that define who you are and how you move when life tests your confidence. When you find yourself in a situation where someone you love, like your girlfriend, gives her time or attention to another person, it's easy to let insecurity creep in. You might start comparing yourself, questioning your worth, or assuming that her shift in focus somehow means you're not enough. But value isn't something someone else can give or take, it's something that already lives inside you. The mistake most people make is tying their value to how someone treats them instead of anchoring it in who they are. When you know your value, you don't beg for attention, you don't chase validation, and you don't let someone else's confusion define your confidence. Value is internal, not external. It's the quiet knowing that even if someone doesn't see your worth right now, it doesn't make it disappear. Think about diamonds. They don't lose their shine just because someone walks past without noticing. Their value stays the same whether they're in a display case or buried in the dirt. The same goes for you. When your energy, loyalty, and love are genuine, that's priceless. But not everyone is capable of recognizing that value, especially if they're not aligned with your vision. Sometimes people are drawn to what's easy, not what's real. They might choose temporary comfort over long-term growth, and that's their journey to take. Your job is not to convince anyone of your worth, it's to stand firm in it. Vision is what separates people who stay stuck in pain from those who rise through it. When you have a clear vision for your life, your goals, your growth, your purpose, you don't let temporary distractions pull you off course. Vision gives you direction when emotions try to cloud your judgment. It reminds you that one person's choice doesn't define your future. Maybe the situation hurts now, But your vision will remind you that your story doesn't end here. You've still got dreams to chase, people to meet, and a life to build. The more you focus on that vision, the less you allow moments of heartbreak to consume you. When value and vision work together, you become unshakable. Value keeps you grounded in who you are, and vision keeps you moving toward who you're becoming. You start realizing that not everyone is meant to understand your journey, and that's okay. Some people only see you for who you are today, not who you're growing into. If your girlfriend's focus shifts to someone else, that's not necessarily about your shortcomings. It's about her alignment. Maybe she's not in a place to grow with you, or maybe her vision is different. You can't force synchronization between two people who see the world through different lenses. But you can protect your energy, stay loyal to your mission, and trust that what's meant for you will recognize your value without hesitation. Too often, people lose themselves trying to prove their worth. They start acting out of desperation, chasing someone who's drifting away, lowering their standards just to stay relevant in that person's life. But the truth is, when you chase, you communicate lack. When you stand firm, you communicate abundance. You send a message that says, I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not afraid to eat alone until the right energy joins me. That kind of self-respect builds a quiet strength that others feel even when you're silent. You stop needing validation because you've already validated yourself. Value also means setting boundaries. It means knowing when to step back instead of fighting for attention that isn't being given willingly. It means walking away not because you stop caring, but because you care about yourself enough not to settle for half effort. When you have value, you don't compete for a place in someone's life. You allow people to choose you freely, and if they don't, you choose peace instead. That's power. That's clarity. Vision adds a deeper layer to that power. It keeps you focused on your future, reminding you that every setback is just redirection. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You start asking, what is this trying to teach me? You realize that everything that leaves your life creates space for something better aligned with your goals and purpose. You start to understand that relationships are part of your journey, not your identity. When one chapter closes, another one begins, one that might take you closer to your higher self. Having vision doesn't mean you stop feeling pain. It means you see beyond it. You understand that the person who couldn't value is just part of the process that will lead you to someone who will. You stop carrying resentment because you know that holding on to it only slows you down. Instead, you use the pain as fuel to sharpen your focus, to chase your dreams harder, to become the best version of yourself. That's how you turn heartbreak into motivation. When value and vision guide your steps, you become unstoppable. You no longer depend on anyone to make you feel complete because you already know you are. You no longer measure your worth by someone else's attention because your vision keeps you focused on a higher purpose. You walk with confidence, not arrogance, with peace, not pride. You understand that losing someone doesn't mean losing yourself. It means you're clearing space for something more aligned, something that sees your value, respects your energy, and matches your vision. Focus and hustle become your lifeline when life tests your heart. When you find out that your girlfriend is giving her time or energy to another friend, it hits like a punch you didn't see coming. The pain can cloud your thoughts, make your mind spiral into comparisons, and pull your energy away from everything you've been building. That's when focus becomes more than just a word, it becomes survival. Focus is the ability to hold your attention steady on your purpose when your emotions want to take control. It's learning to shift your energy from what hurts to what helps. It's choosing not to drown in what's out of your control, but to double down on what you can shape your mindset, your work, your goals, your growth. When you lose focus, you lose power. Heartbreak can make you want to sit still, replay the moments, and ask questions that have no answers. You start wondering what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and whether she'll come back. But none of those thoughts move you forward. They keep you trapped in a cycle of overthinking. Focus, on the other hand, breaks that loop. It demands discipline. It demands that you wake up and handle your business even when your heart feels heavy. It's not about ignoring your emotions, but learning how to channel them into something productive. Pain is raw energy. When you use that energy correctly, it can push you further than peace ever could. Hustle is the movement that follows focus. It's the grind you throw yourself into when you refuse to let heartbreak define your direction. When you hustle through pain, you're telling the universe that no matter who leaves, you're still standing. You're saying, I'm still me. That doesn't mean you become cold or numb. It means you learn how to build while you heal. You might not be able to control who walks away, but you can control what you do with the time they leave behind. You can turn that space into progress. Every rep in the gym, every page you read, every goal you chase becomes a small act of self-restoration. You start building a rhythm that doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. Focus and hustle work together like mind and muscle. Focus gives you direction and hustle gives you motion. Without focus, hustle becomes chaos. Without hustle, focus becomes fantasy. You need both to move forward. When you wake up every day and choose to work on yourself instead of chasing someone who's already drifted, you start to see change. The same pain that made you feel lost becomes the motivation that keeps you consistent. You begin to realize that nothing heals faster than progress. Every achievement, no matter how small, becomes proof that you're moving past what hurt you. People often underestimate what heartbreak can do for a person with ambition. When you've been broken, you either fall apart or you rebuild stronger. Focus and hustle give you the tools to rebuild. They help you transform emotional pain into purpose. Instead of spending your nights scrolling through memories or overanalyzing someone else's choices, you start putting that energy into your grind. You start planning your next move, setting new goals, chasing dreams that once felt distant. The hunger that comes from loss can push you to new levels if you let it. It's like fire, destructive if uncontrolled, powerful if directed. You also start to understand that distractions can destroy your growth. When your attention is split between your goals and your emotions, neither gets the energy it deserves. That's why focus is sacred. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about deciding what deserves your energy and what doesn't. The truth is, if she's spending time with someone else, her story is shifting, but yours doesn't have to stop. You keep writing, keep building, keep grinding. One day, that same focus and hustle will create a version of you so strong, so centered, that you'll look back and realize the pain was just fuel. Focus also teaches patience. Progress doesn't come overnight, just like healing doesn't. But every day you stay disciplined, you take a small step toward peace. The hustle becomes therapy. It reminds you that forward motion is the best medicine for heartbreak. You don't rush the process, you trust it. You understand that success doesn't just mean money or status. It means emotional balance, spiritual strength, and the ability to stay grounded no matter what life throws your way. When you stay focused long enough, something amazing happens. You start falling in love with the grind more than the outcome. You stop doing things to prove a point and start doing them because they make you feel alive again. You stop caring who's watching and start caring about who you're becoming. That's the real shift. The more you hustle, the more clarity you gain. You realize that love, when it's right, should add to your energy, not drain it. And until that kind of love finds you again, your focus and hustle will keep you whole. In time, you'll see that what once felt like loss was really redirection. The pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to sharpen your drive. Focus and hustle become your way out of the darkness. They teach you to trust yourself again, to believe that no heartbreak can stop your purpose. You start building not from ego, but from peace. You realize that success isn't revenge, it's healing. And when you're focused and hustling, nothing and no one can take that power from you. Peace and closure are the quiet victories that come after the storm, the kind of strength that doesn't shout but settles deep in your soul. When someone you love drifts away, when your girlfriend's attention turns to another friend, it feels like your world has been rearranged without warning. You want answers. You want to understand what changed when it happened and why you didn't see it coming. The mind keeps replaying moments, trying to piece together clues, while the heart keeps searching for something that might never return. But peace isn't found in asking more questions. It's found in accepting the ones that may never be answered. Closure isn't something someone else can give you. It's something you create within yourself when you stop chasing explanations and start choosing healing. Peace begins when you decide that not everything deserves a reaction. When your emotions are raw, the instinct is to confront, to fix, to force understanding. But peace requires restraint. It's the discipline of letting silence speak for you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away quietly and let life unfold without trying to control it. You realize that if something or someone truly belongs in your life, they won't need convincing to stay. And if they leave, your peace isn't supposed to follow them out the door. It stays with you because you've learned to anchor it inside yourself. Closure doesn't come from another person's apology or explanation. It comes from clarity. Clarity that things changed, and that's okay. Clarity that you gave what you could, and if it wasn't enough for them, it doesn't mean it wasn't real. The heart craves final words, but life rarely gives them. People drift apart not always because of betrayal or lies, but because growth took them in different directions. Sometimes closure is just accepting that the version of you who loved them no longer exists, and neither does the version of them who once understood you. That realization hurts, but it's also freeing. It allows you to stop waiting for a moment that may never come. Peace feels like breathing again after holding your breath for too long. It comes slowly in fragments. One day you wake up and realize you didn't check their page, didn't replay that memory, didn't feel the ache is strong. Healing is never loud, it's gradual. Like a sunrise, you don't notice until the light fills the room. The key is to protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. The world will always give you reasons to be angry, jealous, or resentful, but you have to choose not to carry those emotions with you. The longer you hold on to them, the heavier you become. Peace comes from releasing the weight, from choosing not to let the actions of others define your emotional weather. Closure is about letting go of what could have been and embracing what is. It's learning to be okay without the happy ending you imagined. It's realizing that some stories are meant to teach, not to last. Maybe her chapter in your life was about showing you what love feels like and what self-respect demands. Maybe it was about teaching you how to love yourself better. When you look at it that way, even pain becomes part of your growth. You stop seeing the ending as loss and start seeing it as transition. That's where real closure lies, in acceptance, not in answers. Finding peace after heartbreak also means forgiving, not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness doesn't excuse what happened. It releases your spirit from carrying it. Holding on to anger keeps you connected to the pain, but forgiveness breaks that connection. You start to understand that forgiveness isn't a gift to the person who hurt you. It's a gift to your own peace. You deserve to move forward without bitterness taking root in your heart. You deserve to feel light again. Peace also teaches patience. Healing doesn't happen on schedule. Some days you'll feel fine, others will hit you out of nowhere. But peace isn't the absence of pain. It's the ability to stay centered while pain visits. You stop fighting your emotions and start flowing with them. You let yourself feel, but you don't let those feelings control your actions. You begin to trust that time silence and self-reflection will do their work. You focus on rebuilding yourself from within instead of waiting for someone else to fix what they broke. Over time, closure transforms from something you seek into something you embody. You no longer need to talk about what happened. You've already made peace with it inside your heart. You start to appreciate the lessons instead of resenting the losses. You see that the situation didn't destroy you, it refined you. It showed you what kind of strength lives inside you when everything else falls apart. Eventually, peace stops being a goal and becomes a lifestyle. You start choosing calm over chaos, understanding over argument, acceptance over anger. You stop needing to prove your worth to anyone because you finally see it for yourself. The person who hurt you no longer has control over your emotions because you've reclaimed them. You begin to move differently, quieter, wiser, lighter. That's when you know you found real closure, not because someone said sorry, but because you stopped needing them to. Peace becomes your power, and closure becomes your freedom. So when it's all said and done, when the emotions calm down and the noise fades, what really matters isn't who stayed or who left. It's who you became through it all. Pain will come, people will change, and life will test your patience, but your growth, your peace, and your purpose will always be yours to protect. You learn that respect is louder than reaction, that energy doesn't lie, that pain can be turned into purpose, and that your value doesn't shrink because someone else couldn't see it. You learn to focus on your grind, to hustle through heartbreak, and to walk away with grace instead of anger. That's what real maturity looks like, being able to let go without losing yourself. Because in the end, love may break you for a moment, but it also builds you if you let it. It sharpens your vision, deepens your character, and reminds you that peace is the highest form of power. So don't chase what left. Don't fight what's gone. Just keep building, keep healing, and keep moving forward. The story isn't about who hurt you. It's about how you rose. And the best part, you're just getting started.